From the creators of Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast. It's Friday, May 31st, 2019, and it's the Relevant Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and here with me in our Orlando studios on the ones and twos, our illustrious engineer, my brother, Chandler Strang.
Hello.
On the Skype line from Loverland, Virginia, Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
And joining us from our Nashville, Tennessee office, our senior editor, Tyler Huckabee.
Hey, everybody.
Our office being sometimes WeWork and sometimes his living room.
Yeah.
And just down the street, friend there in Nashville, author, speaker, podcaster, cowgirl extraordinaire, Annie F. Downs.
Good morning, gents. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. A little behind the scenes. Usually we record the podcast the day before because of all the extensive editing. You know, all the cleanup.
Yeah.
Today we are flying close to the sun. We are recording on the day this thing's going out. So this may be a loose edit.
Here we go.
This is Nick Willinda walking across Niagara Falls with no safety net, people. The harnesses have come off.
Jesse, I'm going to have to stop you right there. We got to get right to the show. Did you see on Twitter this week? People have been taking us to task. Some new listeners tuned into the show on Tuesday.
I missed all this.
And their public review of our lovely little podcast here was they might need to change the name of that podcast because there's 50 minutes of drivel before we got to the good stuff. And then all the other people are going, no, the 50 minutes of drivel is why I listen. And the internet is on fire. Not really. There's like 7 people.
Yeah,
talking about it.
we wish it was.
The internet's always on fire.
It was a tweet.
I'm good. When they say dribble, what do they mean? Like they want to hear that?
That's only when he talks about basketball. It's when the Magic is playing.
I have something that I feel like I can address this, and I feel like I can do it in a way that's diplomatic, that's understanding and appreciative to our listeners. There's something called a fast forward button. I don't care. Keep it to yourself and just scrub it forward if you don't like it.
I literally replied that as relevant. It's like there's this new invention on all podcasting apps called
I
fast
saw
forward.
it, and I was like, that's the snark of a Cameron Strang. That is who that is.
That's not a Jesse Carey.
That's not a Jesse Carey. That's a Cameron Strang right there.
There's a salty, relevant podcast reply on Twitter. That's Cameron's got the phone out while he's watching basketball. Yeah.
Here I need to publicly use this time to address something that has nothing to do with the intersection of faith and culture, but I will use it as a platform because people love when we do this at the beginning of the show to address something personal. Yes. I want to congratulate the good volunteers of the SPCA who came to my house late last night. It was like 11 o'clock to rescue 2 ducklings that were abandoned in my pool. And not only that.
Wait, why didn't you get them out?
I got them out, but I put them in a box in my garage to keep them safe because you have no idea how adamant the SPCA people were that I get them out of the pool immediately and do not let them dive underwater. Whatever you do, don't let them dive underwater because they don't have the oils on their wings yet. They're ducklings. They're abandoned ducklings.
Can you tell me what those letters are you're saying? SPCA?
Oh, do they not have the SPCA by you guys?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like a volunteer animal rescue organization. Okay,
Wow.
they have like shelters and.
I am shocked that you don't work for the Volunteer Animal Rescue Foundation.
Hey, after my encounter last night, I was like, okay,
maybe
I might have to do this because, I masterfully got the ducklings out of the pool. But when the lady came at like 11 o'clock to pick them up and bring them back to the shelter, I was like, all right, well, are you going to get them right there? She's like, no, I have somewhere to go from here. I'm like, oh, yeah? She's like, no big deal, but there's an uncontained squirrel in Norfolk right now. And I'm on I want to be like, hey, lady, I don't want to break it to you. There's probably thousands of uncontained squirrels right around us right now, just asleep in the trees. Every squirrel is an uncontained squirrel. But her commitment to this job is she's going to go to some rando's house in the middle of the night and try to get a squirrel out of the attic. I appreciated the dedication. This is all volunteer work. This is thankless volunteer work.
What a terrible use of your time. As a volunteer, I just would hate happy Thursday night. Oh, I was hanging with my friends watching basketball. And now I got to go get 2 ducks out of this rando's pool.
No. This is what. Here's what. This is going to make me sound like a horrible person. Horrible person. But the people.
It's going to make me sound like one, or you?
Me. Okay, for good. Sure. Because the people were talking to Dana and I on the phone, and we're like, they were like, okay, you need to bring them to us tonight. They cannot make it through the night. And I was like, Dana, I'm not driving across town with 2 ducks in my car. I told them, text them back, circle of life. They stay outside tonight. We'll see what happens. I was like, listen, one animal's rescue is another fox's dinner. So if they want those ducklings, they can come to me. And they did. They did. They weren't happy.
They did.
So congrats to them. They're better people than me. You know.
But that is true. I mean, like we were in Montana and Brian Carpenter, the guy who runs the organization that hosts us, lives out there, and they had just built a pen and they had chickens.
Oh man, this was
they were doing
horrible.
the chickens, and they were the little kids, like Brian's kids, were excited to bring us the fresh eggs and all the stuff. And while we were all hanging out, Jesse, what happened? Because my back was turned.
I'll tell you what happened, and I'm going to blow somebody's spot up because Brian's young daughter it took the fall for leaving the gate open where those ducks were attacked. But I know who actually opened the gate. I know who actually, and I probably shouldn't say his name publicly. Cameron, let's just call him J. Bach. No, too obvious. We'll call him Jonathan B. And this man, Jonathan B., may have left the
Christian
gate open.
film producer, president of Grayscale Media.
We don't know. Hypothetically,
there's lots of Jonathan
could
Box
stand for
or
anything.
whatever.
John Bow. This is John Bow for all you know.
Yeah.
Briefly left the gate open. A dog ran into there, and it was like someone had gotten a feather pillow, just thrown it in the air and burst it. That's all I see. It's like, in the cartoons where the Tasmanian devil runs and it's just a tornado of like debris in the air. That's what it was. It was the tornadoes of feathers and grown men screaming. Like,
all I knew is that the children came running and screaming, and the men were like, "Oh!" And it basically, one man's pet is another person's prey. That's what I learned.
will say this.
Another person's prey.
Well, another animal's prey. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the thing about the ducks. That circle of life, man.
The dog got one of the chickens, and it was her. I was shook. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see nature. I don't want to see the savagery of nature play out in front of me. And you could tell all of these dudes that are on this Montana retreat, none of them have ever lived on a farm, because as soon as you see the duck run in there, no one jumped the fence to help except for Brian. He ran in there and quickly remedied the situation. Every guy there just went like this.
I didn't see it happen, and I found Jesse. He was like, "What happened?" And he looked shell shocked, like he just got home from war, like he had seen some things.
I don't want to see that.
The look in his eye was literally like, I can't talk about this yet. Like, he looked sick.
It was traumatizing, man. No one wants, like I said, I'm just glad she came and got the ducks last night.
Yeah, I have a follow-up duck question. Okay. Can I ask a duck question?
Please do.
Jesse, I've known you for a long time now. I'm so surprised that your move wasn't, I can't wait to get 2 ducks in my car. Why didn't you want them in your car?
NBA finals were on, and I'm not missing that. Yeah, exactly. The lives of 2 ducklings aren't worth me missing game 1 of the NBA finals, Annie. And
Okay. That's what I couldn't understand. I was like, wait, Jesse lives for stories like having 2 ducks running rampant in his car.
Yeah.
But
so there I was driving across town with 2 ducks in the back seat. Yeah, that's the beginning of a good tale.
Yeah,
but no, he would have missed
not
the
worth
game,
it last night. Not worth it.
I found an animal, and if we're going to do this creature feature on the pod now, this is our 20 minutes of drivel now. What would you guys have done? I found I went down to do some laundry the other night and found a lizard in the washing machine, and opened it up, alive, a live lizard, not like an iguana or not an alligator. Yeah. This is Nashville, not Florida, but a sizable, a bigger lizard than I thought lived in Tennessee. To that point.
Compared it to your hand. Is it as big as your hand?
About. Yeah.
Wow, that is a big lizard for here.
Yeah. It's a big lizard for here.
That's a big Nashville lizard.
But surprisingly fast. How hard would you guys have worked at trying to safely get the lizard back out to the backyard? No.
Don't care. You're going to find it in about 3 weeks in the corner where it's shriveled up from starvation. That's what it deserved.
You're a monster. No, but for sure you get it out. I mean, you just get it out.
I got to do laundry. Obviously, you have to. Yeah, but it's fast, and Tupperware. It's
probably
it's
all
a
high
little
on
big
detergent.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't want to mess with a lizard normally, but a high lizard.
It's drunk on Clorox. It's
actual bath salts. Actual bath salts down there.
The fact that it made it through the wash says that this is not a normal lizard.
Yeah, this is some
I'm
sort
not messing with that thing.
Wait, you found him at the end of your load?
No, this is the beginning. This is the beginning. So this is. I haven't
if he's
done
at
the
the
laundry
end of your
yet.
load, pull him out and let him run the household because he is a superhero.
Yeah, I was going to say, still just walking around down in the bottom of there, drinking up, detergent residue. That's basically salamander meth. He's all hopped up. You don't know what he's feeling invincible right now.
Right.
He's like,
a
come
little
at
bit
me.
bigger.
Come at
I don't know
me.
how much bigger it need to be. A little bit bigger, and I got a new pet. Like it's a little too small. Like it could get through the holes in the floorboards or whatever now. But a little bit bigger, and I'll see it gets along with the dog, and who knows? Maybe we start we have a little situation going here.
Lizard
But it took a long
Sanctuary
time.
of sorts.
A sanctuary, yeah, sure. Or I could, like a zoo.
Okay, sure.
Whatever.
A zoo. Sure, yeah.
I'm all
so
about the hustle.
It sounds like a Mark Wahlberg movie. A nice family-friendly Mark Wahlberg movie.
The dog, the lizard, and Mark Wahlberg.
Right.
In which he plays himself. It's an actual Mark Wahlberg movie.
Yeah. And your lizard plays himself
And
too.
the lizard also plays himself.
Weirdly, Mark Wahlberg voices the lizard and is portraying himself, Mark Wahlberg, in the film.
Yeah.
So wait a minute, Mark Wahlberg's playing Mark Wahlberg, and he's the voice of the lizard. Yeah, I mean, I figured the more Wahlberg we can get into this thing, the better. I mean, it's triple the Wahlberg at that point.
Fictional
Mark
Mark Wahlberg, starring Mark Wahlberg and Mark Wahlberg, the lizard, and the dog.
He shoots it on his phone. It's a Mark Wahlberg production. It's,
I think he's gotten into the detergent.
I got it. It took a while.
Real concerned about the end of the lizard story.
I'm not going to lie. I got a little detergent drunk tonight, and I made a film about a lizard. You guys got to see it. It's probably not going to make sense because I don't know why I drank detergent. It was terrible, and I'm violently ill. Someone call poison control.
Sets off a massive bidding war. It's all the festivals want it. Cannes wants it. Sundance wants it. It could be a real art piece.
I ate 7 Tide Pods and shot a lizard film. You guys,
the lizard and me split an entire Tide bottle, just back and forth.
I ate 9 delicious Tide Pods and started rolling.
Anyway, I got it took about 20 minutes, but I finally was able to get the lizard
giant
with your bare
soapy
hands?
gushers.
with my bare hands. Let him outside.
Wow,
He's
that's
not that good.
impressive.
He's
Huh?
about reckoned. Well,
That's cool. You
I got a heart for all God's creatures, Annie.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You gotta run a zoo.
I just let nature run its course. I mean, if it's not meant to live, it's not
I
meant
pop
to live.
another
I'm not
Tide
gonna
Pod and just
intervene.
let the detergent wash my cares away. And that's all I need to do.
Just popping another Tide Pod.
The only thing that's necessary for evil to succeed is for good men to let lizards just die in their laundry.
Delicious
exactly
soapy
right.
gushers. My treat.
All right, well, we have a great show in store for you today, despite that beginning that probably lost all the new listeners. Coming up later, author and speaker Jordan Lee Dooley joins us. She's joining us to talk about how to balance a healthy life while also pursuing your dreams. And she has a new book coming out called Own Your Everyday. There you go.
Yeah.
Own Your Everyday.
She's everywhere right now.
Hey, actually, stay tuned. Up next, it'll be the hot list.
Having fun. If I try, could I win you over? If I try, could I win you over? If I try, could I win you over? If I try, could I win you over?
You're listening to Wethen and Beerson. The song is Win You Over, featuring Soak. At the beginning of the podcast, you heard Peggy Goo with Starry Night. Okay, it's time for...
It's the hot list. The hot list. It's sizzling.
I still object.
Chandler, the fact that stuff lives in you, it's just such a blessing.
Have you ever seen Slow Jams from the Kitchen?
Yeah.
Back in the day on Instagram, he used to do...
It's on YouTube.
Oh, that's it. That's what it was. Slow jams from the kitchen. It was Chandler in his condo kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Buzzing
singing
on
about
Tide.
Doing longer versions of that, basically.
Wow, we can still find that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there goes my Friday.
What people don't know is I'm looking at video streams of everyone on the podcast, and when that song came on, the Hot List song, everyone was doing different Fortnite dances. It was really impressive. It was cool. It was very cool. It was very, very cool.
Very, very cool.
This is very cool. That is my least favorite thing about having a 9-year-old is that at Target, at Publix, in our living room, if anything comes on, all of a sudden, there's a dance party. Like,
Yeah.
Why is that a bad thing? That seems like a great thing. All of a sudden, there's a dance party.
Dude,
no one has ever said that
Right, that's
phrase.
actually
in an
a-
angry tone.
the weirdest thing about this phenomenon, about the Fortnite stuff, is like, okay, so we'll be in the aisle at Target, right? And a song, some soft rock thing's playing overhead, and Cohen starts doing a Fortnite dance. In the distance, another child will see that in his peripheral vision and then lock eyes with him and do his own Fortnite dance, and they will battle Fortnite dancing in the middle of Target.
That's hilarious.
Okay,
I
John
have it
Lithgow.
all the time.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, John Lithgow from Footloose. Maybe that's not such a bad thing that kids these days are communicating through the art of dance. It seems like a pretty great thing to me.
It's pretty confident.
They're confident. They've evolved in their communication and relationship skills that a complete stranger you can have a dance off with in a public place and it not be weird for anyone.
But society's falling down around them. The dreams that their older generations had aren't going to work out for them. They're not going to have Medicaid. Let them have a dance party.
Like tariffs coming everywhere, whatever they are. We got. Let them have a little fun.
Whatever they are.
I always hear about these tariffs.
Right and
I'll
left,
tell you
just
this:
tariffs.
they don't sound good. Let them dance. Let them
Let 'em
dance. That's
dance.
what I say.
All right,
They got
fine.
too many tariffs to worry about.
All right. Coming in at number 5 this week on the hot list, it was announced this week that a movie based on Between Two Ferns is coming to Netflix. So the Funny or
Yes.
Die viral video series featuring Zach Galifianakis awkwardly doing celebrity interviews with like actors, politicians, and artists. He's done Will Ferrell, Natalie Portman, Barack Obama, Justin Bieber, Jennifer Aniston, Richard Branson. I mean, he's done everybody. It's coming. It's going to be a movie. So in the feature length movie, he is embarrassed by his viral fame, and he goes on a cross country road trip, interviewing more celebrities along the way in an effort to redeem his reputation. The film releases in September. It's pretty great.
I love it that they're just
Give it to me.
They're
Give it to me.
basically just doing the plot and format of Borat and not caring. like I'm going to drive across the
It
country.
has a little bit of Tommy Boy in it too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just to shake a Tommy Boy
That's
from the
true.
kitchen.
Yeah.
Which I'm grateful for because that sounds funny. I'll watch that.
Yeah.
Before he blew up, did you see his? It was on Netflix, or like old school Netflix. He had like a comedy special, something
Live
about
from the
like
Purple
the purple.
Onion.
Yeah.
Yeah, Purple Onion.
And it kept cutting away to like scenes from back home, and he would play his brother and stuff. And then he has this meltdown on stage, and it was like the first time America was introduced to Zach Galifianakis, and you don't know if he's like joking or not. Like it's one of the most uncomfortable. He's great. He's great at twisting things, and not like you don't know if he's in on the joke with you. Are we laughing at him or with him? It was
Right.
great. You need to watch it.
One of my favorite lines from that is when his brother takes us back to the house. Now, remember, he is
Seth Galifianakis.
Yeah, Seth Galifianakis.
Right.
His twin brother, who's being portrayed by Zach Galifianakis, takes him to their childhood home, and he goes, "Well, this is where it all started, and this is where it will end." And he just stares at the camera like ominously, and you're like, "I don't know how to take this, but I'm just going to enjoy the ride here." Yeah, classic. Yeah.
He's got a great that Purple Onion. Is
I
good.
think Zach Galifianakis playing his brother Seth Galifianakis is like Mark Wahlberg voicing the lizard.
Yeah.
You know, hopped up on Tide Pods. I think it's a very similar lane there.
Mark Wahlberg portraying Mark Wahlberg voicing a lizard. It is very high concept.
But the lizard has a southern drawl like Seth Galifianakis.
Yeah, it's like 9 levels of Inception there. Yeah, it's very, very complicated. Don't think about it too hard.
Coming in at number 4 this week on the hot list, MacKenzie Bezos pledged this week to give half of her $35 billion fortune to charity. The ex-wife of Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos is committing to Bill and Melinda Gates and Warren Buffett's Giving Pledge, a commitment made by some of the wealthiest people on earth to give their money to causes that help those in need. In a recent divorce from Jeff, which ended their 25-year marriage, she received a 4% stake in Amazon. Her commitment to the Giving Pledge will devote half of that to philanthropic causes. In a statement, she said, "In addition to whatever assets life has nurtured in me, I have a disproportionate amount of money to share. My approach to philanthropy will continue to be thoughtful. It will take time and effort and care, but I won't wait, and I will keep at it until the safe is empty." Notably, Jeff Bezos has not yet signed the Giving Pledge, despite his 16% stake in Amazon, worth about $140 billion. But, let's just keep it to ourselves, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Jeff, yeah. I don't really...
the more the time goes on, Elon Musk, okay, he's basically like Iron Man. You know what I mean? Like you kind of like you're figuring these billionaires out. Jeff Bezos, probably not that good of a dude. That's kind of what we're figuring out about.
Yeah, what makes Elon Musk like Iron Man?
I mean, he's just like that kind of like inventor genius guy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And he seems somewhat concerned about using his ability and his resources. Yeah, for like the greater good. Especially
like he wants to solve problems for humanity. Yeah, I mean, so like the Boring Company is like, I want to bore tunnels to alleviate traffic and create more rapid transit and alleviate congestion, and electric cars. I want to help the environment, and I like everything is like something to help humanity.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos,
he did call the guy who saved those kids out of that cave a pedophile, which wasn't the best look for.
He's Iron Man's not perfect. Let's just call it
Iron Man's. That's true. Iron Man's not perfect,
but Bezos.
I know what you said. Point taken.
Yeah, but Bezos in the meantime seems primarily concerned with injecting more and more doses of steroids into consumerism. Like, let's make it easier and easier for people to buy cheap stuff. Like, that seems to be, almost what he's entirely devoted Amazon to be known for, but
not a lot of, and that's not it's not just a Bezos thing. Like, there's been a lot of concerns about like ethics in Silicon Valley, and there's not a lot of these people aren't really paid to put a lot of moral thought into their tech developments when it comes to consumerism. But we're getting to the point now where maybe these people should consider having somebody on their board who could be like, yes, we can do that, but should we do that? Despite the profits that'll make. I don't see that happening anytime in the very near future, but it would be nice if it did.
Yeah,
that is interesting. Like, when will capitalism kind of course correct for, more of a moral compass, versus just, shareholder profit? That is interesting, because that seemingly is in contradiction to each other. Now, you would look at somebody like Elon Musk and he would say, no, we can make money in an ethical way or doing things that serve the greater good. But, you're right. I mean, on the companies that are just profit motive, like, what's their incentive to do anything more than that?
And we've talked about it before, but it's that AI thing too, of like, when does the morality of what we can create need to be interrupted by what we should create?
Yeah. I think the lack of moral compass will be the downfall of Facebook, because, they just went, we're learning more and more behind the scenes that they just did anything to monetize your data without any ethical discussion. And it's coming out. And I think consumer trust, let alone government regulation, because of their lack of kind of internal oversight, will ultimately be the downfall of it. They'll break up Facebook, or they'll regulate it kind of into obsolescence at some point.
And that's the danger of the venture capitalist and later IPO, model that a lot of these Silicon Valley companies start. They get investors who want eventually to see their investment not necessarily create a return, but create value, so that when they do have a public offering, that value that these venture capitalists put in can be cashed in. But once you start selling shares publicly, your shareholders need to see a return. And if you want shares to keep going up, so you're only incentivized, if you follow that model, to just maximize profits, make margins bigger, cut costs, and But then you look at like these other kind of privately run institutions. Like I can't remember the name of the woman who runs In-N-Out. That's like a family, a business that's
she's like the granddaughter of the founders or something. Yeah.
But she's refused to do public offerings and refuses even expansion that could mean greater profits because, of principles that are ultimately linked to quality control and, assuring a greater quality of life for their employees that, might not work if you have shareholders demanding answers to why costs are so high,
Right. It's also the difference between Chick-fil-A and McDonald's. I mean, it's like one's a race to... We got to create, shareholder value in some way. We got to keep increasing profits and cutting margin or creating margin, all that kind of stuff. Whereas Chick-fil-A is like, no, we're going to close on Sundays. We're going to serve our staff first. We're going to uphold quality standards, and it's working for them. But if they were, owned by shareholders, I don't know that they would even be allowed to make some of these decisions that they made.
And especially if you're going to have, I think it'd be a really cool move to see companies start hiring like an ethicist or a board of ethicists, but it would be really difficult to empower those people to the point where they could actually overrule shareholders or have more, or could, to not just have it be some sort of token. They write a paper that says, I don't know if we should do this. And everybody on the board's like, duly noted. And then goes ahead and does it. I think it'd be a good move, but it would take a pretty innovative company model to make that something that would actually be of value to both the company and the consumer.
Well, I don't know. Have any of you guys listened to Michael Lewis's new podcast series? He's the guy who wrote Moneyball, The Big Short. He's written a lot of books that involve looking at institutions and their dealings with like ethics and money. But anyway, he looked at how a lot of big newspapers now are eliminating ombudsmen, like the role entirely, like internal people that keep the staff accountable for that very reason. They are having trouble justifying the cost to management when the only job of that role is integrity. Integrity doesn't necessarily create an automatic return, but it's important, out of principle. But ombudsmen across the all the major newspapers, that position is being eliminated entirely.
Well, there you go.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah. All that because MacKenzie Bezos is giving away money. Yeah. And Jeff Bezos is not.
And you still want Cohen to stop dancing in the midst of all of this.
I don't want him to stop dancing. I want him to stop battling other children in Target. I mean,
everybody has a reason. Everybody has a reason.
Of all the things to be upset with your
I'm not upset. I'm not upset at all. I don't tell him to stop. I don't whatever.
You should show your support.
Let him battle.
That'll make him stop because it would be uncool if Dad joins in. Hey kids, we battling? And I'm just doing whatever the move is,
You would kill it across America. Fortnite would plummet. Well, free fall.
You've what we've been waiting on, Cameron. You dancing is what we've all been waiting on to kill Fortnite.
I love it.
Yeah, gamers see you and they're just like, it's over, guys. It's
never
over.
mind.
We're gonna hang it up and let's move on to board games now. Let's just
coming in at number 3 this week on the hot list, a new DC Comics movie is going to mix superheroes and religion. Ava DuVernay has signed on to direct New Gods, based on a somewhat obscure DC comic book about a group of divine beings who try to save humanity from itself. When it was first written in the 60s and 70s, many of its characters were obvious satires of figures like Richard Nixon and even evangelist Billy Graham. She'll be writing it with comic book writer Tom King, who's worked on comics like Batman and The Vision, and frequently uses religion as a theme in his work. In fact, he once said that all of his work, quote, comes down to bullets and God. So, Ava DuVernay.
Yeah.
Man.
That's what I say about my writing, too.
Bullets and God.
That may be the coolest quote of all time. Annie, if someone endorsed your next book and was like, this book comes down to bullets and God, that would be on the cover, right?
Done. Yeah, for sure.
Not even a bad title. No. It's not even, I think that book would really turn the heads at Family Christian. Not Family Christian.
R.I.P. Rest in peace.
Some sort of.
Huck, are you excited about these New God thing? Is this is this a good comic book?
It's a really weird one because it's really obscure. It came like Jesse said, it first came out in the 70s, and then it's a not D-list. It's like low on the totem pole, but it's an interesting concept. And I think for people like us, the spirituality that's baked into the premise will definitely be interesting. And I love Ava, and obviously, like, she's been in the mag. She's a great director. I think that today, When They See Us comes out on Netflix, her miniseries about Central Park 5, and I can't wait to watch that, because that's something that I kind of have always known about, but I was a little too young to really be aware of it. I wasn't following it, obviously, when it all happened. So being able to see that, I think, is going to be really interesting. And then Tom King is a writer who I really like and respect a lot. He's a really, really cool writer. And hey, Bullets and God. What else do you want? That's how you get Tyler Huckabee's endorsement. That's how you get the Tyler Huckabee signature. Is pretty easy to get. Just put a little bit of Bullets and some God in there, and I'm on board. But I would say it's probably going to be refreshing for DC to adapt something like this, because there's not a lot of crazy fans out there that have ideas about, like, Batman would never do that, or Superman's not like that. Because, like, New Gods, I have no opinion whatsoever. I'm just,
I gotta be honest, didn't even know this existed until Cameron read this. So, I'm cool with it, whatever direction they want to take it. They had me at Bullets and God in it for 2 Ferns. So it's a blank slate as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Coming in number 2 this week on the hot list, the creator of shows like Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane, and the president of the conservative watchdog group, the Parents Television Council, have struck up an unlikely friendship. It came out this week.
This is one of my favorite stories I've read in a while. This was great.
So Seth MacFarlane's an outspoken atheist, and the Parents Television Council is a pro-family-friendly watchdog group founded by a conservative Catholic. And over the years, he's targeted Seth MacFarlane personally. In one campaign, they wrote, "Whatever would America's sex-crazed adolescent potheads do without Seth MacFarlane to amuse them?"
Can I answer the question?
Yes, please.
Fortnite dances.
Fortnite dances.
And Family Guy goes away, and Fortnite there's going to be dancing in the streets because they got nothing else to do.
However, in a lengthy interview with the LA Times this week, Seth MacFarlane and the PTC president, Tim Winter, explained that they have now become close friends. In 2015, after another attack on Family Guy content, MacFarlane asked Winter, or 2 writers that he chooses, to, quote, "write an episode of Family Guy the way you think Family Guy should be written." I like it. Though Winter declined the offer, he wrote a letter to MacFarlane explaining, "What is the cumulative impact on children who watched those programs? I humbly and respectfully ask you to help change the dialogue." MacFarlane explained, "I was properly humbled, and I figured that I got to give him a call." Since then, the two speak regularly and have dinner together and consider each other friends, and have thoughtfully discussed evolving content on MacFarlane's shows. Winter said, "If the president of the Parents Television Council and the creator of Family Guy can have this kind of a relationship, maybe other folks might be able to try to do the same thing." I love it.
I do too. And especially because, like, I haven't really known what to think of, like, Seth MacFarlane, because sometimes I feel like he's more concerned with being like a provocateur,
shock jock,
than necessarily saying anything, important. Which, look, everybody has their own approach to creativity and comedy, and that's fine. But to see him, like, graciously engaged with an organization that has made it very personal. And even in this conversation, Tom Winter said, like, I was surprised he wanted to talk to us because we use his name, his actual name in our fundraising. We're going to stop Seth MacFarlane. Wow. And for it to be that personal, and for them to kind of lay those aside and be like, okay, well, let's find some common ground here. I mean, there were some really interesting anecdotes in it. At one point, one of Tom Winter's family members became ill, and MacFarlane, was texting him, getting updates, and really supporting him as a friend. It's just interesting. I love that last quote because it's true. Look, if these 2 individuals can get along and find common ground, then I really feel like that's a positive thing.
Coming in number 1 this week on the hot list, this week, Kirk Franklin said people like Kanye West, who are on a spiritual journey, shouldn't be cast off when they stumble. The gospel music star was a guest on Beats One this week and was asked about his friendship with Kanye West. The 2 famously collaborated on Kanye's album, The Life of Pablo. Kirk even praised on the album. And Kirk said that years ago, Kanye reached out to him, telling him that he wanted to, quote, help the production value of gospel music. However, Kirk said that initially Kanye wanted to make an album with him, but Kirk told him that Christians might judge him and cast their own expectations on him if they release a gospel album together. He said that Kanye then offered to basically give him the beats for free so Kirk can make the album without him. And though Kirk declined, he wanted to stay in Kanye's life as a friend. They later ended up collaborating on the song Ultralight Beams. Well, this week, Kirk was asked if he called Kanye out after some of his more erratic behavior and controversial political comments. However, Kirk said he believes that people like Kanye that are on a spiritual journey deserve grace. Here's a clip.
Once you see this stuff going on, does he call you?
Yeah.
What's the relationship?
I am never about throwing people away because I was thrown away by my mom and daddy. So no human being will ever be thrown away by me. I'm not going to agree with choices people make. I'm not going to agree with people's execution of those choices, but I'm not going to throw your life away. I want it to be more of a brother than a collaborator because I can't say no and hold accountable things that may need to be shifted if I'm always just jumping on records.
That's right.
And so, again, the brotherhood won. When I say win is I want listeners to know that don't mean that people are at the end of their journey and perfect and right. Is I'm saying that there is a respect and a love that when I say something to him, I'm now seeing the response be somebody that, like you said so eloquently, they on their journey. People are on their journey. And when they fall, we need to hold them accountable. But let's hold them accountable to loving them back to health.
Loving them back to health.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like something that should be really obvious, but I feel like these stories are kind of similar. It's like the Parents Council and Seth MacFarlane loving them in the to push them in the direction you want to go. It was interesting because Kirk, when he initially said that, Kanye came to him and said, "Hey, I want to help gospel music. I want to make this album." The reason Kirk Franklin didn't want to do it with him is because he didn't want to expose Kanye to angry Christians. His reason was, no, you don't understand. These people, if you do this, they're going to hold you to an almost impossible standard. And the first thing you do they don't like, they're going to judge you. And I mean, that's a startling indictment.
I was just saying, I think it's just also an interesting, another take on the cancel culture and how we just have to stop feeding that if someone's making a mistake, if someone does something different than us, that we encourage people to cancel them out of our lives forever. I just think it is so, it's such a sick thing that has happened. And so I love these kind of conversations. They're going, oh yeah, having a public life means you're going to publicly make mistakes. It's part of the deal. And we can't just cut people out every time that happens.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree on a personal level. I think Kirk was wise though, because if Kanye did a gospel album and then the gospel world put him on that platform and said, okay, you're now ministering gospel music and they're doing gospel concerts and all that kind of stuff, that the church should hold the people on a ministry platform to a certain level of, moral accountability and things like that. You know what I mean? Like you would want your pastor to not be doing crazy stuff.
A high standard is good for, yeah.
So, I mean, Kirk was right. And it's not that we're like, necessarily like going to try and tear him down. It's just, if you step into that pulpit, you are, accepting a higher public standard. You know what I mean? And I don't know that that's a negative thing. On the personal level, I completely agree. I love what Kirk did. He's like, no, I don't want to be a collaborator. I don't want us to like have a commercial relationship. I want to be in your life, and I love that he went that way with it. That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
I agree.
sure.
Another thing those two stories have in common is that Kirk was offered Kanye's beats for free, and that this Winter gentleman was offered to write a Family Guy script for free, and they both turned him down. If either of those gentlemen want to offer me a similar opportunity, I would be more than happy to take you up. I've got a lot of Family Guy ideas been rattling around in my brain since I was 15 years old. So Seth MacFarlane, you can find me. I'm on the podcast. It's at Tyler Huckabee on Twitter.
Yeah, Kanye, I will accept the beats, and I will withhold my judgment until that day.
What would take that Mark Wahlberg movie to another level is if Kirk Franklin voiced the lizard. That his voice was like,
he's got a cool voice.
He does have a cool, like, because I've never heard a conversation with him where he doesn't sound like he is basically like preaching. Like he has that sort of like authority in his voice that is very cool,
And I would say I saw the lizard. This lizard had a little more of a Kirk Franklin vibe than a Mark Wahlberg, a little bit. So I could go either way.
Well, he could become like the wise mentor to Mark Wahlberg. Like he goes around, keeps him in his shirt pocket at all times,
That's
or he's
exactly right.
He's kind of coaching him up. He's like a life coach lizard.
At 2:30 in the morning.
A life coach lizard.
So the plot of this movie is Mark Wahlberg, who's portraying Mark Wahlberg, is in some sort of personal, having some sort of personal problems to drown his sorrows away.
No, just normal life. Just normal life. He finds this special lizard who speaks to him, and then they go on a quest.
In his washing machine.
You're missing a key thing here. It's to drown his sorrows away. Mark Wahlberg, portraying Mark Wahlberg, turns to Tide Pods. At this point, in a Clorox-induced hypnosis, he enters his washing machine, slips into some sort of Narnia world, and is led by some sort of lizard guide, voiced by Kirk Franklin, who is also giving advice to Kanye West at the time. I'm in. Gods and bullets. Gods and bullets.
This is very exciting.
Yeah.
It's like this week on the Freeform channel. I don't know. It's the movie of the week.
Freeform's budget's gone way up if they can get Mark Wahlberg. That's very...
And Kirk Franklin.
And Kirk Franklin. That's a big budget. But you know what? When the idea is right, the idea is right.
Yeah.
Kirk might do this one for free.
Right, just to give back to the kids.
Like, I feel like this is like one of those weird Netflix sci-fi shows that's always on, like the OA or what is that weird German time travel, where it's just like you start explaining the plot to a Netflix executive and they're like, let me stop you there. Let me stop you right there. Here's $15 million. Go. Make this washing machine lizard Mark Wahlberg Narnia movie. Go. We're in. 5 seasons, 300 episodes. We're in.
No checks and balances, no oversight.
But we're like that Jonah Hill, Emma Stone one. But I don't even know what that's about. Some kind of trippy, it doesn't matter. Netflix, if you got a weird sci-fi concept, they're in. They're making it, and they're making a lot of episodes, even though they know that 99.9% of viewers will get through about 10 minutes of the first one and go, this is weird, I'm watching The Office. Like, that happens.
All right, that'll do it for her.
It's the high list. The high list. It's sizzling.
Literally, Jesse just started doing a Fortnite dance.
I love it, Chandler.
I almost battled you.
Jesse.
I almost battled you.
I know. Everyone saw my flossing skills and just backed down.
My Kirk Franklin lizard voice in my head told me to not do it. Not do it. Be the bigger.
That's
man.
what I think. I want to take this kind of a Bandersnatch direction, our new show, because then you can like choose what how the lizard advises, how Kirk Franklin the lizard advises Mark Wahlberg. You could lead Mark Wahlberg down a path of destruction or potentially towards a path of redemption.
Or talk him into waking up at, 1:30 in the morning to start his day with, 15,000 crunches. Like, his destiny is in your hands. And then followed by a 4-hour shower, that's pretty close to what it was.
We are all, in some ways, the Kirk Franklin lizard.
Yeah, exactly. That's
the reveal at the end.
Pass the plates.
We were the lizard all along.
We are all the lizard.
I just feel like I was ministered to.
The big twist.
That's
if you
right.
make it to the final episode of season 5, the twist will be revealed. But I mean, at that
we're
point,
all the lizard.
You're about 400 hours into this show. which the budget has now ballooned to $900 million, which Netflix will gladly shell out because apparently that's what they do now for weird sci-fi stuff.
Yeah. All right, stay tuned. Up next, Jordan Lee Dooley joins us. Listening to Electric Guest. The song is Dear to Me. Today's show is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a landing page, a beautiful gallery, a professional blog, or an online store, it's all included with your Squarespace website. Creating a site with Squarespace is a simple, intuitive process. You can add and arrange your content and features with a click of a mouse. You can even design a best-in-class online store with Squarespace's award-winning templates, customizable settings, and a lot more, all without a single plugin. including all the tools you need to track inventory, process orders, and send custom emails in one intuitive interface. Squarespace Commerce allows you to understand every aspect of your business. And right now, they're offering Relevant Podcast listeners a special deal. Go to squarespace.com/relevant for a free trial. And when you are ready to launch your website, use the offer code RELEVANT to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I use it often. Squarespace. Jordan Lee Dooley is an author, speaker, and entrepreneur whose new book, Own Your Everyday, was just named the best book to read to be a better person in 2019 by Inc. magazine. We recently spoke with Jordan about finding the balance between waiting on God and taking the initiative, how to set healthy boundaries while pursuing your dreams, and the importance of redefining what success looks like. You talked to her, Jesse, right?
Yeah, I did. And, to be kind of honest, I have some degree of skepticism when it comes to some sort of self-helpy type of books,
Right.
Especially, there are some that tend to kind of lean into platitudes to a degree. So when I, first encountered her book, which Annie, you've seen, do you know Jordan at all?
Yeah, we're friends.
When I first saw her book, I was really impressed with how counter narrative a lot of it was, where it's not so much about leaning on all these strengths and big goals as much as it is about becoming a better person.
Right.
But ultimately, part of the book looks at the tension of a verse in Proverbs, it's 16:9, that says, "The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps." There's a real tension there. If I'm making my plans, how can the Lord also, guide my steps? So I wanted to ask her what that, serving God looks like in light of that verse. And here's what she said.
But I think what it's meant to me and what it's really, how it's guided me in these last few years is I believe we are called and made to take action. I think we can't just sit around and hope that something's going to, land on a silver platter for us. But at the same time, there comes this point of working, I guess, giving your best and then just trusting him with the rest. That's really the best way I can say it, because I think a lot of us are striving to be the best, which is the wrong goal. So I always say there's a difference between giving your best and trying to be the best. And so I've had to learn the difference, especially as someone who wants to achieve and be the best and, own my whole thing and have full control. I'm such a control freak, is learning the action and what I can control and making sure I'm taking intentional action with those things, and then trusting everything that I can't control, like the outcome. I always say impact over outcome. And I think that really applies to this verse, because we can plan all the things we want. We can plan book launches. We can plan, our lives out and hope for these certain outcomes. And a lot of times we might get them, but the reality is you're either going to get the outcome you wanted. I heard this said at a conference not too long ago. You're going to get the outcome you wanted or the lesson you needed. And so I think that really applies to this verse is, what, I can work and push and be very intentional with the actions that I take to get a certain desired outcome. But I have to trust that if that's not the outcome, so long as impact was made and I showed up where I was, then it was still a purposeful endeavor. It was still worth pursuing. God still was glorified in it. He still got his way and impact was still made.
I really like that, because I do feel like there's a lot of advice these days that you hear about. It is important to be the best, to get to the top of the mountain. But really what she's saying is that's probably the wrong motivation. That's probably rooted in something unhealthy. And if you're more focused on impacting other people than elevating yourself, that's, more of a accurate measure of success, because there's a lot of factors that are just outside of our control. And so I think, where that kind of led the conversation was to really ask, well, how should we even measure success? Because especially if you look at objective metrics, there are relatively few people who, depending on how stringent you are with those metrics, actually become quote unquote successful. So I want to ask her what she thinks a healthy way to even look at the idea of success is.
You've got to look at success in your life on micro level before you can ever go macro, before you can ever think those big, cool, flashy public things that may or may not ever happen. Because I think what a lot of people are doing is they're waiting for that one big career move or one big, awesome thing that looks successful. I'm the best mom in the, community, or I'm the best, whatever. And I think we actually rob ourselves of daily micro success, of really being intentional in our daily lives and going to bed each night saying today was a success. Because I think we all wait for that bigger success. And in waiting, when you feel like you're in a season of waiting, you're really wasting this awesome, precious day right in front of you. So I started to redefine success for myself. I had these bigger ideas and goals, but I had to start looking at it on a micro level and say, what are my micro success factors? How can I make sure that every single night when I go to bed, I can look at the day and say, I was successful today, whether or not everyone else applauds or sees it. And so things like I prayed today, I moved my body today, I was present with my husband over dinner today. Those are little things that we can often plow right through because we're just so focused on this big, big idea of micro or macro success. And so I just really started focusing on that. And I found those little daily successes, those little daily intentions and disciplines, those are what actually set us up for true, lasting, bigger successes that we hope to have in our lives.
This is why I love Jordan. I just think there's such a weird pressure on women when it comes to success. And she has got such a balance, leading us in a real balanced way toward what it could look like to every day find that and still dream bigger than just your everyday. So I love her voice in that space.
Yeah. And too, it's almost, this is like a random pop culture reference. Remember the Adam Sandler movie years ago where he's obsessed with work and finds that magic remote control? That's basically a parable about this idea that if you
it's called Click.
Oh,
yes, I remember it.
Yeah, I remember Click.
It has a name, Jesse.
but it's sort of the parable about the dangers of something like she's talking about. Look, if you're measuring success on these big, outcomes that they might be professional, they might be personal, but you ignore the little stuff every day, then your priorities and what you think about success is totally backwards. And I think that's a kind of a cool countercultural message right now for a lot of people because they'll get
and especially especially for women, because there is this weird push on if you're not massively successful, then you're not successful. There's this weird thing for us that is leave the old metrics of what success would have been for your mother or for your grandmother and find these new, really high level, quote, quote, successes. And Jordan is so good about saying, and says it a lot on Instagram, on her podcast, and in this book of there is success in right where you are today. You should find it right where you are today and identify it. And I just think that is so helpful.
Yeah. The other thing that she talked about that I felt was kind of countercultural is the double-edged sword of setting goals. You always hear it's, you got to have goals and try to meet them. But she actually kind of talks about, well, again, if you have an unhealthy perspective on that, that's going to have really negative consequences. And here's how she explained it.
Be the person that you see in your dreams before your dreams come true. And I don't mean someone who's, if I want to be the person in my dreams, I need to be making, 6 figures a year. I don't really mean that. I mean the person who's confident, the person who's intentional, the person who is present and alert and joyful and, serving others. I think we often wait to become that person until a certain goal comes to pass, until we hit that milestone. So my whole thing is, if you're going to set goals, do it, but have a little bit of boundaries on those goals so that you don't get so obsessed with the end outcome that you miss the impact along the way. So, or just the intentionality along the way. So for example, let's say you're trying to gain or lose weight, for example. If your goal is to lose or gain 10 pounds and you want to go to the gym every single day besides Sunday, so 6 days a week, that's great. That's a lot of activity. So what's the boundary you're going to put on that so that you don't become obsessed with, I've done that where you almost put your body through too much and you don't have any kind of balance in your life. So the boundary on that goal could be, I'm going to have an accountability partner to hold me accountable to not working out more than 30 minutes a day, or to making sure I'm replenishing so that I'm not trying to expedite reaching the goal, but then starving myself in the process. So it's just I think the discipline of putting boundaries on our own goals helps us still achieve them and work toward them intentionally without becoming obsessed or damaged by them.
Yeah, I think that's another, there are people who are so driven that, you feel like nothing will stop them from accomplishing their goals. That might not necessarily be a good thing because they might be willing to neglect other things in their life that shouldn't be neglected, to try to achieve, a goal that might be, somewhat arbitrary. It might not be what, God wants. So, I was, like I said, really impressed by the book and impressed with Jordan. It's called Own Your Everyday, and definitely encourage people to check it out.
All right, that was Jordan Lee Dooley. Stay tuned. Up next, it's our Listener of the Week. It's back. Hey, thanks for listening to today's episode of the Relevant Podcast. Hey, if you're a longtime listener or a fan, there's two things you should do. One, head over to store.relevantmagazine.com, our online store, and there is a whole podcast section where you can get mugs with some quotes from the show. You can get some t-shirts and other merch. There's a podcast section at the Relevant store. Go check it out, store.relevantmagazine.com. Also, while you're at the website, you should subscribe to the magazine. There's a great deal going on right now. You can get a year of Relevant for a very good price. Head over to relevantmagazine.com/subscribe. Listening to Floor. The song is Dancing Around. Target, battling children. Okay, it is time for...
You listen to the show and it's time to get to know you. It's the Listener of the Week.
We took a break for a while. We took
I love
a break.
that jingle.
Because I don't know, we just felt like it. Well, we're coming back with a month of Listener of the Weeks. Jesse has been watching watching the Twitter feed, and he told me yesterday, he's like, man, I've been flagging these people. There's so many good ones. I think we need to bring it back. And we're like, let's do it. So to kick off our Listener of the Week comeback, please welcome Christina Tello. Hey, Christina. Hey, Christina, where are you calling us from?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. What are you doing in New Jersey?
Whereabouts?
All over. So I grew up in North Jersey in Elizabeth, and now I'm living in Ocean Township, Asbury Park.
Okay, what do you do there?
I am a social worker, and I work in housing.
Oh,
good woman.
I work in an office. You work in housing. I work in an office.
Oh boy.
Is making a difference.
Christina Tello, what is your feelings on the Jersey Shore television program as a lifelong New Jerseyer?
Okay, so I don't know if I'm in denial or not, but at least 2 out of the 5 or 6 of them are from New York, for the record.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're a truther.
People go there to party. I'm not really into that. I love the beach, but that whole lifestyle is not really about.
Christina, what is the best and worst thing about the state of New Jersey?
The best thing is the people and the diversity, for sure.
I know. I learned that watching Jersey Shore.
Great people. No one's arguing with you there.
Great hair products.
The worst thing, I guess, is depending on where you live, it's hard to get anywhere. People would make fun of, like, oh, you have to say what Parkway exit you're on, but like the whole west side of the state, if you're like, they're nowhere near the Parkway. So it could be hard to get. And also the shore traffic in the summer is terrible.
And your bridges will randomly close down for no reason.
For spite.
Yeah, just out of spite. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, their toll booths are wheeled for political spite. It's a crazy thing. Christina Tello, before you came on, and we were like, okay, we got to call Christina Tello. Tyler Huckabee said, Christina Tello is my favorite Ninja Turtles name. Have you ever heard that lame joke before?
No, I didn't, but I always told my brother that he should name his firstborn Donna.
Yeah,
Tello.
Yeah. You beat me to it.
Well done.
You did it.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. So the reason why we picked Christina Tello to be our Listener of the Week was that she posted 3 interesting facts about herself on Twitter. I will read them, and then please elaborate and tell us more about these items.
Can I also say one quick thing? Christina Tello is the first person in the history of Listen of the Week to send a multimedia clip with her.
Oh, wow. That really caught your attention, Jess.
She's taking it up a notch. She's raising the bar for all of you other prospective listeners of the week. We want visual aids. Here we go. Her first fact. I have performed at Carnegie Hall 4 times. The fourth time I did something impulsive and was severely reprimanded backstage. Please do tell.
Oh, tell us.
Okay. I've been a listener for a couple months. I don't know if any of you have been on the classical choir circuit.
No.
Okay.
Sadly, no.
Yes, unfortunately for
life.
Our loss.
You're young. So it's very strict. I mean, you so much as touch your face on stage, scratch your nose, move that hair that's tickling you, you are scolded. It is very unprofessional. It's very strict. Wow. So during college, my choir was invited to Carnegie Hall pretty much each year. And we sing with other choirs from other colleges. And so there's a band that's playing before us. There's a band, and then there's the choral presentation. So the band goes on, and I'm sitting backstage, and there's some people like giggling and laughing, and I'm kind of like secretly judging them and thinking like, wow, it's so unprofessional. And my choir director and I are shooting each other looks like, oh yeah, we got this. We're professional. So, unfortunately, the band was doing the opening overture from The Sound of Music. And I thought, maybe it'd be nice if I close my eyes and just kind of get into the spirit of the presentation.
Oh, boy.
So I'm hearing the opening notes, and I'm just viewing myself spinning around in a field of flowers in Austria. And when the time comes, I'm just like, the hills are alive. Backstage, and my choir director loses it. She's like, I trusted you. How could you do that?
The ultimate betrayal. You bursted out a song.
I'm not mad at you. I'm disappointed. That's
right.
That's the word.
You and Cameron should join forces. You both. It sounds like there's a indictment against music and happiness and joy on both ends here. Maybe you should be a choir director, Cameron.
I do. I freelance on the weekends.
Christina, how tempted were you to just run on stage and start singing the song? Like if your choir director's treating you like that, and you've already played Carnegie Hall 3 times, I think you've earned the ability for an impromptu solo. Were you tempted at all?
I was. I wanted to run out, but I'm a purist when it comes to art, and I'm still ashamed that I did it, but I'm kind of not sorry because I was feeling it, and I had to go with it.
Right.
When spirit moves.
Her second fact. She's recorded a non-ironic, very professional Christian version of Beyonce's song "Irreplaceable," and we have a clip, folks.
Not
we have
possible.
a clip. Yeah,
I love it.
Okay, Chandler, you want to play it?
To the left, to the left,
I'm going to need the backstory on this too.
to the left, to the left.
But let's just relish in this for a moment. Annie, I want to navigate what's happening. Annie has her hand over her mouth.
In the Gospels, that's my stuff, and if I follow, it's gonna be tough. Keep speaking that word, that's good. Can we walk and talk like Jesus would? Yeah, it's His name that's on my heart. He has the strength to move seas apart. I'm standing at the altar. You're talking about
your voice is very good.
So are your lyrics.
Soon enough, you'll see He loves you too. He's got me preaching. You
Wow.
must not know about
I am very impressed.
I am too.
What happened?
Truly.
How did that come about?
Let's hear the story. Let's hear the story.
Guys, not to get all testimony on you about this corny, well-produced song. So I wrote this song when I was like baby Christian, like 2 months into being a Christian. I was 22, and it was a time when I really just wanted to be out in nature. So I would have these long walks to work, and I was just thinking about the world, and I was getting a little pushback for, changing my lifestyle, changing my beliefs, and, the changes that you go through when you are newly saved. So I was just thinking, any hate that comes toward me is because they don't know about Him. and it's my job to help them know about him so that they desire to push against him less. So that's where that came from.
So let me ask this. You have such pure motives, Christina, and that's very admirable. When people gave you a hard time for your faith and you were being persecuted for your convictions, did you just say, you know what, I'm not going to defend this right now. I need you to listen to this. And you handed them a CD with your cover of Beyonce's Irreplaceable. Is that how it went down from there?
No, but I know how I'm using my next tax return now. Thank you.
All right, Christina.
That is a very wholesome story, Christina. That was like,
do you have a studio
inspiring.
in your house? This sounds like it was a real deal here.
Yeah.
My friend Tom has a studio. I actually have written some of my own songs, and I was planning on sending my demo out, but then I met my husband, fell in love, got married, and life's kind of taken a crazy turn. So I actually have a demo that's not done yet, and this is one of the things I was going to put on it.
Wow. Okay.
You have a lovely voice.
Yeah.
All right, last fact. She said, I once did something during my pastor's sermon that made him stop preaching, look at me dead in the eye, and say, really?
Oh, wow.
Oh,
please tell us.
We've all been there.
If you've been anywhere with Jesse Carey, that has happened to us all. Yeah.
All right, but like Jesse probably came in on the zip line. Mine's not like that crazy.
That's a good guess.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this guy at my church. His name's Nelson. He's like older guy in his like 50s or something. And he's just so funny. Everything he does, I'm like always looking. What's Nelson doing? What's he doing? I got to know what he's doing. He cracks me up. He just looks at me and I laugh. So he's sitting on the other side of the church, across the aisle. The pastor is giving his sermon, and I get a little distracted, and I'm like, well, what's Nelson doing? So I look over, and he's just writing in a little friendship pad, signing in, saying who came to church that week. And then he takes it and slides it across the whole pew to the end. And I'm like, oh, it's so smooth. I want to do that. So I write my name. I'm all confident. I'm all excited. And I go to slide it across the pew. It hits the end of the pew, flies over, and misses hitting my pastor by an inch.
Oh, my gosh.
Right in front of him.
You slid a little booklet with such force that it catapulted off the pew and almost hit your pastor mid-sermon?
I was enthusiastic. And I like to think that it was like mid-altar call. So he's like, if you're looking for a reason to accept Jesus Christ, let there be a sign. And the just membership pad comes flying over.
I'll say this. I got to meet this Nelson character. Can he be the listener of the week next week for us too, Christina? Can you come on with Nelson?
I'm sure we can work it out. He's hilarious. Like whenever we're singing songs, he just messes up the words on purpose. I'm just like looking over my shoulder, laughing the whole time.
He's a disruptor.
Wow. He's a disruptor. It sounds like he's doing it for his own amusement, which I appreciate too. Anyone that's disruptive, and they were the only one who finds it funny, that makes me think this Nelson fella is a pretty likable guy.
Right.
He's got a killer joke I can ask him to tell if he's free, and it's about a tree, and it's to die for. It's really good.
Well, how about this? I don't know. Let's end this the right way. And this is you appropriating Nelson's joke. We need to hear. You can't tee it up like that, Christina.
Yeah. Right.
If Nelson has a good tree joke that you know, that you have to do the right thing here and spread this tree humor.
100%.
We are all ears, Christina.
Okay, I am willing, but I want you to know that the last time I tried to repeat what Nelson did so suavely, it ended in utter embarrassment. So,
well, either way,
wow.
we're excited
here
for
it.
Either way, we win. Yeah.
Yeah, either way, we win.
Okay, all right, I got to make sure I get it right.
Okay,
so a guy goes into an job interview, and the guy interviewing him's like, this guy's an idiot. I'm not going to hire him. Let me just give him some stupid test to do so that I could just have a reason to get him out of here. So he hands him a piece of paper and a pen, and he said, draw the number 3 without using any words or numbers. So the guy draws a tree, and looks over at him and he goes, Twee. So he's like, all right, he outsmarted me this time. So he said, all right, so draw me 33. So he takes the drawing that he just did. He moves his hand all over it so it gets all crazy looking. And he goes, dirty tree. And so the guy's getting frustrated and he's like, I got to get this guy out of my hair. You know what? Let's forget about the threes. Give me 100. So he draws another tree and another tree and moves his hand all over them so they get all crazy. And he draws a little thing that looks like a rock next to everything. Okay. And he hands a paper back to him. He says, what's this? And the interviewee says, that's dirty tree and a turd, dirty tree and a turd, dirty tree and a turd.
Oh my gosh.
That's it. You and Nelson have to be on.
That's it.
That is the ultimate grandpa joke.
I think you did Nelson proud.
You did.
The retelling was really strong.
But I like to think he would really appreciate how you delivered.
Can I ask you a question, Christina? Is Nelson Phil Dunphy from Modern Family? It sounds like he might be Phil Dunphy.
Probably. I'm sure somebody met him along the way and designed a character after him.
Yeah.
All right.
You did him proud.
Our listener of the week, Christina Tello. Thank you for joining us, Christina.
Thanks,
Christina.
Thanks, Christina.
All right. If you want to be our next week's listener of the week, hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast and tell us 3 facts about yourself. Ideally, they lead to stories. That's the catch. And then
or jokes.
I do think this. Along with your 3 interesting facts that have funny stories, you also, if you want to be on, we're stepping this up. You have to bring the best joke you know. You have to do it for next week.
And clips. If there's
you guys, I just got to do this at my church because they did like a dad joke competition where like NFL players do, where 2 people sit across the table and try to not laugh at the other person's jokes.
Let's hear yours.
How'd it go?
Okay.
Yeah, how'd it go?
Okay. You've opened the door, Annie. You can't.
I'm ready.
Let's hear. Okay. Let's do this. Me versus you. Do you want to go first? And whoever laughs loses. Okay.
Okay. It's up to you if you want to go first. You want me to go first?
I'm watching y'all on video, so whoever cracks first.
A smirk.
Hey, listen, Annie, I can win this right out of the gate if you want.
No, he can't because he smirks at everything. So,
right. And I'm very funny. You've got that fact that you haven't put into the.
Okay, Annie, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go first. Why didn't the lifeguard save the hippies from drowning?
Why?
They were too far out, man.
Nope.
I laughed.
She didn't crack at all. All right, Annie, your turn.
Your turn.
Jesse, I am so excited that spring is here that I wet my plants.
That was good.
I got him.
Oh, easy. An easy victory.
That was embarrassing, Jesse.
I couldn't help it. I'm a sucker for potty humor. That's why I like Christina's. That's why I like Christina's. I'm at the age. My sense of humor level is the same age as people who like Fortnite dancing. It doesn't take a lot to find the joy in potty humor. Good, well done, Annie. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, so hit us up if you want to be our next listener
and bring your dad joke. Bring it.
Bring your dad joke.
Yes.
Many thanks to Jordan Lee Dooley for joining us. Her new book, Own Your Everyday, is out now. Go check it out. Also, thanks to Squarespace for making the episode possible. Go to squarespace.com/relevant for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch your site, use the offer code RELEVANT to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Well, on that note, we will wrap things up. I think we did pretty good considering it's a light edit day.
Yeah.
It didn't create too much work for Chandler.
You didn't hear the 3 rounds of dad jokes that Annie and I were telling that were getting increasingly more inappropriate. So well done, Chandler. Thanks for protecting Annie.
Had to cut out a solid 45 minutes of extremely problematic dad jokes.
He saved it for the Relevant Podcast After Dark.
Mine would have been unaffected, but you saved Annie. She will be invited back into houses of worship, but despite the horrible things I heard just leave her mouth.
Oh my gosh. Stop it.
They were offensive on every level. These jokes were some of the most profane and offensive and politically incorrect things I've ever heard.
I have a pretty high tolerance. But I was throwing up, physically vomiting.
We're gonna hear from the Parents Television Council president.
That's right. About
the next letter.
Annie's gonna be
Next letter is,
down.
we'll bring
you know what,
we will
dude?
bring Annie
You
Downs
write some
down.
dad jokes if you want. Yeah.
Tim Winter and Annie are now gonna be best friends because
Right, that's the hope.
she offended him so much.
It's a long game.
That
It's
is
a long
the
game. She
hope.
just wanted a new friend. That's all she's looking for.
On that note, we'll wrap things up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Chandler Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Tyler Huckabee.
I'm Annie F. Downs, and I have more dad jokes if y'all want them.
All right,
leave
hit us up.
us on a good one here.
Okay. Why did Norway start putting barcodes on all their ships? Do you guys know this? Why they started putting barcodes on all their ships?
Why?
Ships.
Tell us.
No.
Yeah, on the ships, the Navy.
got
No, hold on. Let me say it again. Why did Norway start putting barcodes on all their ships?
Why?
So they
Why?
could Scandinavian.
If that wasn't the third joke you said, that was at the expense of people of Nordic countries.
Why
Were
do you hate
insanely
this?
offensive.
Hey,
Why do
did
you
you
hate
guys
the
know that I used
Scandinavians?
to actually work at a calendar factory? But
yeah?
they fired me because I took a couple of days off.
She let out with her only good joke is what we're saying.
No, they keep going.
No, keep going, please. One more for the road.
One more. Send us home smiling.
Okay. There's a 3-legged dog who walked into a bar and he looks at the bartender and he says,
Oh my gosh, Annie, I cannot believe you just said that.
Annie!
The dog said that to the bartender? How? Oh, Annie. I'm not going to be able to say that tonight.
What sort of sick mind even rose something like that? Let alone finds it
What did the
funny?
Norwegians ever do to you? My goodness. All right, have a good weekend, everyone. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to the Relevant Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Check out other shows from the Relevant Podcast Network in the podcast section at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, browse exclusive podcast merchandise at our online store. Make sure to subscribe to Relevant Magazine. Info is available at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
I'm not going to lie. I got a little detergent drunk tonight and I made a film about a lizard. You guys got to see it.
Relevant Podcast Network.